we few, we happy few, we band of brothers. For he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother, be he ne'er so vile. This day shall gentle his condition, and gentlemen in England now abed shall think themselves accursed they were not here, and hold their manhoods cheap whiles any speaks that supported us at the Goblins and Growlers Patreon at patreon.com/goblinsgrowlers.
Me.
Not to, hey, listen. So, your kingdom in the Feywild...
You see several ears turn to face you.
Your kingdom in the Feywild...
Yes.
Was taken from you?
It is a shame that I must bear. But now here, I will make my kingdom anew.
Well, okay. So there's something I want to say, but I want to be very clear. This is not me. This is the society I live in. Okay? So think of me like the messenger.
Mm-hmm. You see the figure leans forward off the chair, several of the eyes looking directly at you.
Where you're from, having a lot of rats in one place is it's considered like a good thing, right?
If we're of the same families, yes.
Yes, of course.
Otherwise, we eat each other.
Oh, God.
That tracks.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. Solinar's like a little green around the gills.
Alita's gonna kind of like gently touch his arm, and then we're gonna get through this, buddy.
Other families taste the best. You see several of the smiles and look at you with a slightly more hungry grin.
Do you mean other rat families or other fey families?
You still not have told me your family. So how could I answer you?
I did. I was born in the Glade of the Nymphs in the presence of a dragon. Which is why I smell like this.
But I can't see your lineage. I can see this one. They look back at you, Solinar.
Solinar looks shifty.
All right.
We've seen your father, and I've seen your mother. And your sibling.
Did you just put a plural on that?
Yeah, the GM of the normal part of the game is also like, what do you mean? What do you mean siblings? Are we adding canon, Gabe? Is there a sibling I need to write?
Entirely up to the forces of this world.
Does Solinar's dad have another child we don't know about? Is this on both ends of his life?
It's possible. I couldn't rule it out.
Harold's a wiry one.
Oh, that's not inaccurate.
It is so surreal to have my father's name on your lips. I don't even know what to do with that.
You're welcome.
This is not Alita. This is Alex. Do rats have lips? Like, is what they have considered lips?
Yeah, they're very thin.
Okay.
Yes.
What would you call it? A beak? Like it's lips.
Snoot nibblers was what I was going to go with.
No. Snoot nibblers are not a body form.
There's the wiggle sniffer and the snoot nibblers.
Oh my God.
That's what Stardow's moles have.
And the grabby hands. Just a
Star-nosed
little
moles
man
have snoot nibblers.
with little hands.
These hands are kind of big.
I just love rats so much, you guys.
I
I have
will say
concerns about this one.
This Rat King is I mean, he's pretty clean coat. Although the heads all
I'm
look
looking
very
around for the
different.
corpse of Miss Brisby still, all right? Like,
Roll investigation. Or I guess perception. Roll perception. So you don't really have a lot of area to walk
with my
around.
modifier, it's a 10.
Heck yeah. So you do notice that one of the instruments that is being played appears to be a like, it looks like a drum. You're pretty sure it's a drum, but it is covered in rats around the sides to sort of like lift it up. So it's hard to really get all the image from it. But you do notice that there is a goodly amount of blood splatter across the head of the drum. Doesn't look super new, but it's still reddish. So it hasn't like fully browned into dust.
So that's
and
like
stain.
a couple days.
Yeah. So it's a good guess.
Is amongst the instruments, is there a flute? I believe we've heard a flute a couple of times.
Yes. You do spot there are 3 rats that are holding up. It's more of a long forward, almost recorder like flute.
Paper towel's more like a didgeridoo, but
Yeah. And it has several like markings on it that you do recognize as elvish.
I am trying to recall if I can silent cast Mage Hand, or if that's a later trickster thing.
Well, while you discover that, the head that spoke to you earlier, Solinar, turns. You were saying about us coming from a place where rats are common.
Solinar peels his eyes from the flute. Huh? Oh, yes. Yes. The here, I don't know how familiar you are with human affairs and elves and gnomes and halflings and etc.
We hear and see them frequently, yes.
Yes, so you've seen how they respond when they see a few rats in one place, right?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, very, very aggressive. It's unfortunate, but it's, yeah, that is kind of how that goes.
This is why I asked you to remove your boots. Only so many of my children get stomped on before I take issue.
That is
incredibly fair.
I am uncomfortable being barefoot. I'm very, very self-conscious about walking around spaces like these with my toes out.
They're safe for now.
Yeah. Sure. Okay, I've looked up Arcane Trickster. I actually don't see anything about being able to silently cast Mage Hand.
Oh, is it not?
Do you want me to cough like right as you're casting it?
That would take a degree of collaboration that I don't think Solinar and Alita planned before walking in.
Fair.
Wink, 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 wink. Double wink.
Wink, 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 wink. Why are you winking so much? Yeah. So the thing is, that's a few rats in one place. When people see a lot of rats in one place, they refer to it as an infestation.
Terribly unjust of them.
Which is not a kind word to use, but the way they react is in line with that term, which is...
Solinar, are you saying that you're concerned for the safety of his kingdom?
I am indeed.
You see this figure leans back in the chair and then leans forward and stands up fully, and goes to take a step forward towards you. As it does, you see the rats beneath their feet sort of like fill in, bunching underneath their step, and it walks up beside you and reaches a hand out, sort of cups it around your shoulder. Solinar, my friend, you know, you remind me a lot of me when I was your age.
Oh? Is that so?
And it kind of like starts like walking you towards the further side of the room, the pathway sort of parting in front of you and reinforcing beneath them. The hand on your shoulder, again, it's very warm. It's almost like if it wasn't for everything that had already been set up, it would be almost comforting. The context makes it not as much.
Yeah.
But you can also feel like there's a lot of like body heat coming off of this creature as it walks in that direction. I would like to show you something I've been working on. To share it with you from one person possibly too clever for their own good to another. One of the other heads, and I'll say
Alita doesn't make the face that I'm making, but please know that I'm making a face.
Alita sees one of the other heads. You can also see better how this being is constructed, and you can see beneath the very large stitched together sort of cape, there is a grouping of tails that are sort of like braided together coming out from underneath it.
That was more what I'd expect from a Rat King, yes.
And one of the heads, it comes so far from the back of the neck that it turns and it's looking at you and specifically says, give us one moment. Actually, please, a gift for you. As it takes another step, you kind of look around and you see several rats sort of marching, holding up a small wooden chest that is being brought over.
Alita's gonna kind of like lean over so she's closer to eye level with them, like you would, like, you know, to talk to a small child. And it's like, thank you very much. This is not as weird to her as I feel like it should be.
One of the rats appears to be attempting to speak with her. It makes several like squeaks, almost conversationally, and gestures to the box as they kind of like part and place it down onto the ground.
Thank you very much. And she's gonna open the box.
As you go to open it, it appears to be locked, and you can see on the plaque on the front where a lock would most logically be, it has like a 5-fingered like hand spot kind of thing.
Was it big enough for like a nymph-sized hand?
Yes.
Or is it tiny for like a little rat-sized hand?
You see a tiny rat hand spot on the inside of it, but there's also a humanoid hand spot on the outside.
Alita's gonna kind of like gently lay her hand on it. This is a trap. I feel it in my bones.
It takes just a little bit of your blood and a little bit of your saliva and runs a genealogy test.
It does.
This Rat King is gonna 23andMe straight into the grave.
You take 1 point of fire damage as it gets really, really hot for a second.
She's gonna like yank her hand back and like hold it.
Several of the rats kind of like turn in response to that, but the box does unlatch and open. And inside you see what looks like just a bundle of really nice silk at the moment. Like it's very like scrunched and
Scrunchy! My hair's too short, but I do appreciate the gesture.
Like a giant scrunchie at the moment. Or switch
Like
over
one of
to
those 1980s scrunchies, like those huge scrunchies.
It's possibly you'd have to pull it out to really figure out what that
My
is.
hair is very short. I don't think I can. Alita doesn't have very long hair, but we'll see what we can do.
Maybe like a collar. Switching over to Solinar. Again, the arm sort of like tugs you closer into this figure. I remember wandering around as just a wee rat, climbing in places where I shouldn't and taking things that people asked me not to. Ah, those were the days.
Ah, the days of petty larceny.
But
Yep.
in
Yep,
recent years, I've been working on greater things. And he steps towards a wall, waves their other clawed hand, and you see again another curtain, two curtains of rats part, and you see
Your Majesty, award for good luck. And Solinar like makes a couple of hand motions and says "Snagaloo," which is, I've decided, his summoning word for silently or rather invisibly summoning his mage hand.
I love it.
I pre-rolled a deception that came out 23.
Heck yes. They look down, see you make the gesture, and the head that is closest to you kind of gives like a nod and a grin. The grin starts out like comforting and then turns. It just keeps going. There's a lot of teeth on this mouth.
Uh,
And then as
We're gonna have to retcon the deaths of Alita and Solinar because this is not going well.
the
Alita just wanted to
the
dance,
episodes
you
after
guys.
this are actually just a group of rats in the bodies of Solinar and Alita.
oh my. I was thinking they both get mind wiped of the entire thing. They wake up in the street thinking like their minds have been wiped of this whole affair, except thinking that they went out and had a really nice time.
Alita just wanted to dance, you guys. she just wanted to dance.
Well, Alita, who just wanted to dance, as you pull this scrunched fabric out, it is a gorgeous dress. It is very not well put into this box. It definitely looks like it was just sort of like just stuffed, like that like one-handed stuffing something into a box.
Oh, it's gonna be so wrinkled.
Well, it appears to be all silks.
Yeah, if it's nice silks, isn't that gonna be like really wrinkled?
It doesn't appear to have had any wrinkles, at least permanently embedded into it.
You see a little mouth, like a little rat running off with a tiny iron.
A steamer, just as you were holding up the dress.
Thank you, Millie, the garment rat.
You miss Millie, the garment rat, who runs off with a 26 stealth.
Way to go, Millie, the garment rat.
Yeah, it is a very nice. It is interesting combinations of like blues and silvers and with like white accents. Looks almost it doesn't look Telerian at all. It looks more in a style for something you might see in like Oceanvarian finery.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a very nice
Oceanvarnery.
Yeah. Something you would definitely like. This is clearly even to Alita's perspective is a very expensive piece of clothing.
I believe I interrupted your big reveal.
So as you cast your mage hand and it begins to float off where you intend it to, your attention is split, but you're still watching in front of you as these curtains pull aside and you see several just clockwork machines, dozens, very complicated, intricately made ones. There's ones that seem to be like mixtures of sort of like body parts-esque type of thing. Not in a abattoir kind of body parts, but like building humanoids kind of thing.
Building robots?
Possibly.
Like they're mechanical body parts?
The body parts appear to be entirely mechanical, but there isn't a whole body put together.
Ooh.
There's just parts.
Yeah, we just wanted to make sure that this was not gonna get really fleshy all of a sudden.
I did consider at the top of this being like, do I want to do horror? No, I didn't set up the other ones to be horror yet. So even though it is October, I will abstain from actual horror.
Whoa.
These are my prototypes. I am engineering what will hopefully be my key to respect within this city.
We built this city on lots of rats. Built this city.
Rats for far too long have gone underfoot within the city of Telhair. And I intend to change that.
Tinkerhaven is the city. Telhair is the country.
Tinkerhaven. The country of Telhair. Within this city. I've only been here a week.
I haven't even decided on what 7-Eleven I'm going to at this point.
I've tried most of the Slurpees, but they all seem to be just a little different.
Your Majesty, this is very impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I have a concern.
Go on.
So there's this thing in war called arms escalations.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, one side is fighting with a very specific set of tools, and then the other side comes in with slightly more powerful tools. And so the first side designs better tools than they had before.
Yeah.
And that then leads to the other side bringing in also better tools than they had before. But
that's an intriguing idea.
My concern is that if you make a big fighting robot and you turn it loose on someone who is mistreating your children, then you won't just have people who are angry and are like stompy with their boots. You will have the Tinkerhaven military encampment marching down here. It's not that I think you cannot handle yourself. It's that I think this is a level of hostility that's bad for everyone.
Roll persuasion.
Oh God. The most important persuasion roll, and it's not even main campaign. It's 14.
Ooh. All right.
So glad that he's proficient in persuasion at this point. Oh God.
I've thought that many times while playing Baldur's Gate 3. You're like, wow, it's a good thing I had that +2, +2, +2.
Oh.
You see several of the sets of eyes like slowly blinking in contemplation to what you're saying. Well, I will not reveal the ultimate use of this device just yet, but you make a good point. Perhaps my frustration lies not with the people of this world, but those of my home world instead.
I mean, I don't know what's going on in your home world.
Things are stirring, Solinar.
Solinar, I swear to God, if you do not ask the very obvious question.
Like stew?
Much like stew. Like a stew made of magic and war and My kin.
Is he about to say venison? Is he about to say venison?
No. He said my kin, which rhymes with venison.
Stew made of venison sounds like a threat.
Venny's son.
No, Venny's son isn't here. He's back at the King of Stags court. So you were ousted by another rat, is what you're saying.
In a matter of speaking.
The king of mongooses.
My quarrel lies with several courts who, for so long, had an arrangement. But something has changed. Someone is angry, and someone is taking up mantles that they haven't in a long time.
Solinar is very shifty. Like,
And you see
I don't.
the Rat King like pulls his robe kind of closer for a moment, and you see like the fur along his chest and arms is like there's like burn scars and lacerations all down his body.
Which I know that the Feywild has some very specific courts. Which ones should I be conscious of being kind of ruthless? It looks like.
My family was torn to pieces, one by one, by the Prince of Roots. And the Prince of Roots only ever answers to the Swan King. But the Swan King promised to never fight again until the King of Stags spoke to them.
Guys, I just wanted to have them go on a nice little dance. This escalated so much.